What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and tonight we're going to be talking about some real interesting updates for Black Ops 7 and when it comes to the COD HQ launcher. Definitely stay tuned. In the background, we got some surprising gameplay of BO6, considering my lobbies have been pretty weird over the last couple of weeks. Somehow I'm finding potatoes in lobbies from the beta and launch maps of BO6, but then actual demon sweats in some of the lobbies on the newer maps. Could just be a coincidence, maybe I'm tripping, but let me know how your experience has been with the matchmaking down below. Now, for the next couple of days, double XP is currently live in Black Ops 6 for player, weapon, battle pass, and even gobblegums. It's also a great thing for zombies since we haven't seen too many gobblegum events over the last couple of months. There was a double gobblegum earn rate event, I think like 2 weeks ago, but before that, it had been a couple of months. Now, I'm going to try to speak this into existence, but my fingers are crossed that XP earned during the BO7 beta will also count towards your XP for your Black Ops 6 rank. I think if that ends up being the case, I may have a chance to hit level 1000. Now, I also want to thank everybody out there for the support on today's episode of the Bombshell Podcast. We had quite a bit to get through when it comes to Black Ops 7, the reveal, a ton when it comes to zombies. If you guys missed out on that, the link will be down below in this video's description, while the podcast is also available on every major audio platform. If you guys are wondering what's up with my special project that was meant to premiere yesterday, I ended up pushing it back considering I had to make an emergency video once 17 different Activision titles went offline simultaneously. It was a wild video. I think a lot of the games were offline for a good 2 to 3 hours, and even today I'm seeing tweets talking about connectivity issues for some of the Call of Duty games on that list. Not sure what happened there, but it's of course a conspiracy if, let's say, they're trying to upgrade the servers, or if, let's say, some of them are being prepped for Game Pass, so that somehow broke something in the back end. Nobody will ever know what actually happened, but it was very odd to see even non-Call of Duty titles that went offline all at the same time. But I suppose that's also an argument for why games shouldn't necessarily be online only, but hey, in this case, the games were only down for a limited period of time. It would have been clutch if offline compatibility was still a feature in some of our newer games. Now, a few days ago, I also got sent the invite for the COD Next event, which will be at the very end of September. I'm going to go ahead and schedule that stream here on my channel because once the 30th comes around, I'm going to be live streaming multiplayer, zombies, and Warzone from a venue in Las Vegas. The mailer is absolutely insane. It's like a mock 3D printer with a hologram of the butterfly right there in the center. But I do have a COD Next playlist on my channel for those who want to see my older broadcasts from Modern Warfare 2, 3, or Black Ops 6, or even my vlogs that I did for those events as well. Now, I also got tagged in this tweet about a day ago, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but there was a screenshot floating around that I think is somebody reaching out to Activision support or somebody asking about whether or not COD points will carry forward into BO7. Despite carry forward being quote-unquote canceled for the new Call of Duty, that doesn't actually impact COD points, but I suppose it was still worth asking. So as long as you're on the same Activision account and platform, your COD points will carry from Black Ops 6 or any game before it into BO7. COD points became a feature back in, Advanced Warfare? And to this day, if you buy COD points in Advanced Warfare, you could boot up Black Ops 7 and they'll still carry over. But this week was pretty quiet as far as Call of Duty goes. I mean, there was a couple of bombshell reports that I made some videos on, but apart from that, Season 5 Reloaded is currently slated for September the 4th. The current in-game timer for the 90s Action Heroes event does end on that day. And to my understanding, there's no content left for Black Ops 6 right now, so everything else is going to have to get added through a separate patch for the mid-season, of course. And September the 4th also marks the 4th week of Season 5, which is typically when Reloaded is meant to drop anyway. But while they could have gone ahead and marketed Reloaded this week, a week before launch, I do think because of Labor Day, this upcoming Monday, they're probably going to end up just pushing all the marketing till Tuesday, then drop the small update 2 days later. There isn't too much content coming to either game mode, but if you want a full rundown of everything coming to the game with the mid-season, I'll have that separate video also linked down below in this video's description. What I'm thinking though is that the blog post for Reloaded is probably going to have a little bit of info for Black Ops 7 as far as some prep for the beta, or maybe some more optimization for the COD HQ launcher, which we'll get into in a second. But regardless of that, I'm sure the usual leakers and data miners are going to rip through Reloaded and probably find a ton of information about the upcoming beta, Season 6 The Haunting. It's going to be a pretty crazy day, more so because of what's probably going to get discovered from the upcoming patch, let alone the actual Reloaded content for Black Ops 6. As a disclaimer though, be aware of spoilers that might end up popping up come September the 4th, in case you guys don't want to see anything that is related to Black Ops 7. Now before we continue, I want to let you know about today's sponsor, Aniba, an online marketplace that offers the best deals on digital gift cards, game codes, and even DLC. Users can also earn cashback on select purchases so that they can play more and spend less. If you want to check out Aniba, then click on the special link down below in this video's description or the pinned comment. And thank you to Aniba for sponsoring tonight's video. But just earlier this afternoon, while I was actually live on the podcast, it looks like a very interesting update did get added to the COD HQ database according to PlayStation size, and this could be a bit of a result of them detaching Modern Warfare 2 and 3 from COD HQ. So it looks like with the next title update that we're going to be downloading, it's going to shrink the overall size of the COD HQ launcher from 126 gigs on PS5 to just 25 gigs. It'll then shrink the app from 81 gigs to 62 on the PS4. You can also expect similar decreases like this on Xbox platforms and of course PC altogether, whether you're on Game Pass, Steam, or even Battle.net. So this is going to be update 1.80. New campaign packs were also discovered for BO6 and Warzone, so it looks like an update for every single game mode that is tied to Black Ops 6. I'd predict that, like every other title update for Call of Duty, we'll end up being able to preload the new content probably about 24 to 36 hours before the big drop, in this case about a day and a half before September the 4th. I would also not be shocked if this is a very large update you have to download, which in turn then shrinks the overall size of the game. That's also something odd we saw in previous years where you had to download a very big patch just to shrink the overall size of the actual launcher. Now, I do believe the Season 5 Reloaded update is probably bundled with what was just found. If it's not, then I'll keep you guys in the loop because that might get added to the database, let's say Monday or Tuesday, a few days before the 4th of September. But I have a feeling that everything was kind of bundled together here, the little bit of content left for Reloaded, and then whatever shrinking they also plan for the overall launcher to prep even more for Black Ops 7. So I do believe this is going to be step one of a larger process with better streamlining COD HQ to prepare for the Black Ops 7 beta, which does actually begin during the second half of Season 5, and that's going to be on October the 2nd. Funny enough, Season 6 actually begins, I believe, the day after the beta ends, so right around October the 9th, so it makes sense that during the duration of Season 5 Reloaded, preparations are being made for the BO7 beta. Now, this isn't the preload for the BO7 beta, that'll come separately a little bit later, and I'm sure that update will also come with some other optimization for the big COD HQ launcher altogether, but this probably is something similar to what we saw last summer, where some changes were made to shrink the overall size of COD HQ, maybe even change the layout, right before the BO6 beta also began. Now, it's unclear how they're shrinking the application by over 100 gigs. What I am guessing, though, is that 25 gigs, because that seems like it's way too small for Black Ops 6, obviously, that's just the size of the COD HQ launcher. I do believe that is separate from what the overall file size will be of then Black Ops 6, which is probably also being shrunk down. So what it seems like they're doing here, and I could be mistaken, again, we're about a week away from this releasing, it seems like COD HQ is actually going to be treated like a launcher now, where you then have to download the Call of Duties that you want to that launcher, but with the launcher being a completely separate download. Before, Modern Warfare 2 was still attached to COD HQ, and you'd have to install all these packs you probably didn't want before later choosing to uninstall some of the packs and just keep the games that you do want to play. Now, I'm not sure how this will look on console, but from the way it sounds, they're kind of going with what I thought they were gonna do back in Modern Warfare 2, which is make it a lot easier to manage your file sizes through this launcher, yet have it be a seamless launcher for the games that you do have installed. I'm sure with this, they'll end up providing clarification in a future blog. They'll probably remake the UI again to be even more classic than what Black Ops 6 currently is. I also wonder if the controversial reception to COD HQ has led to more changes being made, or do they have to make these changes because there's been far too many bugs or other back-end issues over the last couple of years? I know some folks are already saying that this is the start of them ditching COD HQ. I mean, maybe it is, but I feel like Modern Warfare 4 from Infinity Ward next year is probably also going to offer a ton of changes to how COD HQ works as we know it, and maybe even a big engine shift on top of that. But the last thing I'll end with is that Call of Duty recently uploaded an extension to the recent COD pod they did during the Xbox broadcast. This was a couple of days after Gamescom started, and during this new extended version, And during this extended version, we got brand new looks at Hijacked, Raid, and Express. The Tokyo remixes these maps are going to get are gorgeous, and it also confirms that Hijacked won't be taking place at night, as we saw in the Direct. That was actually footage of the campaign. When we actually go to Tokyo, I guess we'll make a pit stop on the actual Hijack ship, but the maps themselves do look gorgeous. It's unclear if any of these will make their way into the multiplayer beta in October. If not a big deal. We could always wait for the full launch of the game to play these maps again. But honestly, as we also saw with late in the summer last year for Black Ops 6, I wouldn't be surprised if the upcoming title update, which is right before the beta, ends up containing a full list of all the upcoming weapons and another list of all the MP maps, even though we already have that, and a bunch of other information about the overall launch of the game that we still haven't discovered officially yet. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the brand new updates for the COD HQ launcher? How do you feel about them shrinking the overall size of the game by over 100 gigabytes? And also, what do you think is going to get found that is Black Ops 7 related? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.